Thank you so much. And thank you to all the IRS representatives that have given us this helpful information for this tax season. Again, to let the volunteers know this information, this webinar, it is recorded. It will be available on our YouTube channel for volunteers and staff only to view. And so we're also launching our volunteer portal on our website, and it will also have the link for this webinar there as well for you to access. So we're now ready to go into our Moxtra training. Before we get started right now, I want to introduce you all to our volunteer coordinator, Mr. Jonathan Hale. He is actually going to introduce himself. He came on with us, I believe, October, November of 2020. So I will make Mr. Hale, he is going to be the co-host, and whenever you're ready.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to speak to you all this morning. Like Lakeisha said, my name is Jonathan Hale, the volunteer coordinator for this tax season. As you know, COVID has changed so much of each individual lives, as well as our program. Thousands of individuals utilize our program to help them with their necessities. A lot of them look to our program for their financial gain, well, to get the credits that they're entitled to. We're pleased to announce our newest partnership with Moxtra that will allow us to continue to help our community safely and securely. I'm going to pass it off to Sophia Sanchez, the project coordinator.
Hi, everybody. So like Jonathan said, my name is Sophia Sanchez. I am the project coordinator for the Dallas Community Tax Centers. Today we will be going over Moxtra. So give me 1 second. I'm going to first share my screen. And you should be able to see it now. Yep, everybody see it good? I think so. All right. We will be going over Moxtra. Moxtra is going to be the new client portal that we will be implementing for the 2021 tax season. This program allows us to interact with our clients virtually. Like Jonathan said, this past year was a complete change on all of our programs, basically all of our lives. And in order to keep the staff members and our clients, as well as you guys, safe, we're introducing this new virtual program. This is completely virtual. So Jonathan will be talking to each one of you to do the onboarding process. I'm quickly going to go over this just so that we have it recorded and you can look back if you're stuck in one of the process questions. But basically, once Jonathan receives your 13615 and he begins the onboarding process, you guys will receive a link to be invited into the portal. The first thing that you're going to want to do is check your emails. You might want to check your spam folders to make sure that you have received this. This is going to go straight from Mr. Jonathan Hale, like I said, once he does the interview and onboarding process with you guys. So you'll be good to go. The account creation is pretty easy. The first thing you have to do is just, I'm trying to go back. Sorry. The first thing you have to do again is, this is an invite only platform. So you will have to click on this join button once you receive the invitation. It's going to ask you to create your account. Because we are giving you guys invitations, you won't have to create the account because we're going to be using the we're going to be using the emails that if you are a UTD student, we're going to be using that email. If you have a SMU, we're going to be using that email. And if you're one of our past volunteers, then we're going to be using the email that is attached to your Better Impact. You want to make sure that you have access to that email, because the first thing that it's going to do is send you a verification code. The verification code, you just put it, and then it will again arrive in your email box. And if not, you might want to check your spam, because sometimes the Moxtra, depending on your email system, it might get sent to it. So just double check your spam when you're doing your account creation. Setting up your profile, the first thing you want to do is make sure you have a secure passcode. We want to make sure that we have passwords that are not the same as any of your other accounts. It does have a certain things that you have to look out for, such as using 8 or more characters, uppercase, numbers, and special characters, because you will be receiving documents that are going to be the clients. We want to make sure that nobody has access to this. And every time that you are logging in for a shift, you have to log in, but also log out, so that your accounts aren't compromised. We also want to make sure that you guys aren't saving your passwords. That way, if something happens to your computer, nobody can just get in on that. And then your first and last name, please keep it professional. Please make sure you're fully using a full name. Don't use like initials, because that way it will help us. I will help our site coordinators identify you guys. And then always make sure you agree to the terms and conditions at the very bottom before creating the account. You can also download the app, but for you guys, we believe we will be asking you guys to do the desktop. So the first thing that you're going to see once you actually create your account is going to be this business portal. Now I'm going to actually show you guys how it looks live. For you guys, it will have different things, different little menu options. So this is what, whenever you logged in, whenever you created an account, this is the first thing you would see. As of now, I don't have any conversation here, no channels. I don't have any contacts, and no updates. The contacts are basically our internal users. So that will include our staff members and our volunteers. Now, for the conversations with our site coordinators, intake specialists, assistant site coordinators, and our administrative staff, we will be starting those conversations with you guys. So unless you have a question, that's where you could send a private message, but we're going to show you how that looks like. So as a volunteer, you will not have access to our admin portal. So this is basically where you're going to be living in. The timeline that we have here, there's different menus on the left-hand side. So if you guys can see, the timeline basically shows your most recent conversations. Because I am a new member, I will not be able to, I don't have anything here, but once I have conversations with our different site coordinators and our assistant site coordinators and our intakes, the conversations will start piling up here. And this is basically going to be your most recent ones. It will also include any private messages that you will have with any site coordinators if you're stuck on something. And then the private, again, it's just basically a subcategory to this timeline. This will have private conversations. Like I said, you guys won't need to have any private conversations because you will be dealing directly with the site coordinators in the project tab. The project tab is basically what we're going to be using for you guys to be able to communicate with the site coordinators that are assigning your clients. for you to be able to see the files. And if you guys need to meet in video call, we also have those things. So the first thing I'm going to want to do is, as a volunteer, I am signing up for my first shift. And at this point, I will just wait until my site coordinator assigns me a client. So if there's a site coordinator out there magically who can assign me at this time, please. For the purposes of this, we're going to have Mr. Jonathan Hale. So as you can see here, before I didn't have anything, but now that I have a client assigned to me, this is how I know that a client, that I have a new client who I need to take a look at. On the left-hand side, under timeline, I can click on here, and it will give you this red little square with a 1 number. This is basically just like any instant message conversation that you have, whether it be, on your, Instagrams, your iMessages, your, I don't know what other social media accounts people have. But the red little dot means, or the red little square means that I have a new message that I have not read. So that's what I want to pay attention to. As the number, or as people send me messages, this number will go up. As you can see here, there's now 2 messages. So if Jonathan is sending me something, and it keeps increasing and increasing and increasing. So here you might have, you have 20 missed messages, but it might be from the same conversation. You always want to make sure that you are clicking on the ones that have the red little square. That way you can check what the message is. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to click on this. And I can see here that Mr. Jonathan Hale started this conversation. You will always see that your site coordinator invites the Dallas Community Tax Centers. This is just an admin note for us to make sure that our admin have complete access to these conversations. So here I can see that Mr. Jonathan Hale is introducing himself. He's assigning me to the John Sample tax return. He wants to let me know if I have any questions. So let me go ahead and, can everybody see I'm going to minimize my screen just a tiny bit because I know some people were having issues with how big my screen was. I think that should be good enough. Is that good? I'm just gonna assume it is. Okay, so down here you can see that you have 2 options, well, 3 options. You have here a little plus sign. You wanted to upload any files. If you click over here where it says send message, you can start actually typing. And if you click the enter key, it will go ahead and send the message. As you can see here, it also says shift plus enter to insert a new line. So if you click on the shift key and the enter key, it will create a new line. That way you don't have to send 20 messages. You can basically just send one if you have more than one question. You also have here little smiley faces that you can use. And right now they're not popping up. Oh, and these are just regular little emojis. And this will allow you to basically message back and forth between you and the site coordinator. If for some reason we need to add any staff members to this conversation, such as if Jonathan is no longer available or needs somebody to assign somebody else for the quality review, they will be added to the conversation. What's important about this is on the right-hand side, you have different little options. The first option you see here is going to be a little text box. This means that you're currently in the conversation tab. This is where you will be able to send messages back and forth. Next to it is our files tab. Our files tab is actually, it comes automatically. So you will have a copy of the 4012. This is just for you guys to have, on hand. We know that you will have, if you want, you can create links on your desktop. That way it pops up on the internet, but just in case, we want to make sure that we give you guys this. You also have a copy of the intake sheet, which is a 13614. This is for if we have any clients who are Spanish speakers, they will be filling out this intake form in Spanish. Now, you guys will be able to complete those returns. Please don't get scared of that because our intake process is going to be completed by our site coordinators. This form is basically here so that you can view the Spanish form and this form side by side. You can do your split screen on your computer. That way you can kind of translate. It's the same questions. Nothing has changed. It's basically identical, just in a different language. And if there's any questions about the intake sheet, like I said, our site coordinators will be conducting the intake. Just as we see here, Mr. Jonathan Hale put in the completed. He completed the intake completed by the site coordinator. Now that's important because on the, again, top right-hand side, next to the Files tab, you also have a check mark. This little check mark means that this is a to-do list. For our volunteers, you guys, we're going to have 4 different to-dos. The first will be completed by the site coordinator. This means that they have gone ahead, talked to the client, and asked any questions that they might have had on the intake sheet, if they might have had on any of the forms. All of that would be done by our site coordinators, our assistant site coordinators, or our intake specialists, or our admin staff. So what I want to do here is I'm going to go ahead because I know the next to do, it says files reviewed by tax preparer. The one after that, it's tax preparation completed by tax preparer, and the ready for quality review. So I know that I need to review some files, but Mr. Jonathan Hill hasn't sent me any. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send a message, and I'm going to say, hi, Mr. Hill, can you please send me the files? Send me the client files for Mr. Sample. And we're just gonna wait. So if you guys have, read receipts on things, we see here that this was delivered. So you know that your connection is, that your messages have been sent. If you click on here, it'll say that it was read by. So that way we are holding accountability to our site coordinators, making also accountability with you guys. That way we know when things are being taken care of. If for some reason you can, or you are in a shift and you need to step away, or you need another volunteer to step in, please let us know. We will work with you to make sure that all of the tax returns that are being sent to us virtually will be completed in a timely manner. And at this point, I believe it's 72 hours that we are giving the clients for them to upload our files, and then for us to complete the tax preparation process. Sorry. Okay, so as you can see here, a couple messages popped up. So Mr. Jonathan said, here you go. All right, if I have any trouble, please feel free to reach out. Okay, Mr. Hill is very helpful. All right, so if you scroll up, this is kind of like a conversation. So if you guys are used to text messaging people pictures and stuff, if you guys are used to instant messaging, your friends or your family, this is basically what it is. It's instant messaging between you and your site coordinator. I can see here that Mr. Hill sent me several things. And if I click on them, there will be no need for me to download this. It's going to pop up in the same window. And on the top left hand, it's a little X right here. You can exit out of it and it'll go back to the conversation. So I'm going to click, let's see, we're getting here, W2, 2 socials. This form, I don't know what it looks like. This looks like a check maybe. Okay, Mr. ID. All right, so here is an intake sheet. So we're gonna start here. We're gonna click here and As you can see, it's kind of a little bit blurry. And I mean, unless you have like a 34-inch monitor with you guys, this is just a tiny small. But do not worry. You can click on this little plus sign down here to zoom in and out. And it will zoom in as much as, you need. You can also zoom out. And you can make it full screen if you want to. I'm not going to go ahead and do that because I kind of want to show you what all the options are. But I can zoom in and I can say, okay, I can review this intake sheet myself. It's helpful for you guys, especially all of our new volunteers, to get familiar with this intake sheet. That way, like I said, we're doing the intake process in the back end, but if you still have any questions, you can certainly ask your site coordinator and they will help you out. If they have to ask the client, they will go ahead and contact the client and then give you a response. So for the purposes of this Moxtra app, you guys the only communication that you will have is with your site coordinators, assistant site coordinators, and intake specialists. So I can zoom in and out. I can scroll up and down. You can do it. If you have a mouse, you can do that. If you have, a touch screen, you can do that. You can also scroll side to side. So just make sure you are getting these little scroll bars and then moving it, and it will help you see all the other information. Now we know that the intake sheet has several sheets. So in order to see the next page, I would click on this little arrow that says next. And here I can see again the second page, and oh, what is this? This is a green little button. So if I'm reviewing something and this pops up, I can click on this. And I can see here that Mr. Hill left a comment regarding the self-employment. So I believe it was 6. It's okay. Everybody makes mistakes, Mr. Hill. It's fine. It should have been a little bit lower, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay. So self-employment income. So if I click on it, it says, I spoke with a taxpayer who confirmed they did have tax employment income. So if I looked at this and this didn't have an annotation, I would have been like, oh, that's weird. But now that we see that Mr. Hill already spoke to them, then we know that we are to expect a 1099 miscellaneous, or one of our, if they don't receive a 1099 miscellaneous, they will receive a self-employment paper that they will fill out that basically helps them list what their income was for that year and then any expenses. And this is an internal document. So if you guys see that, your site coordinators will be able to help you with that if you have any questions. So then we're going to scroll here, and again, I can click on the next. I can zoom out. I can zoom in, and clicking next just leads me to the next page and the next page. If I'm done with the intake sheet, I'm going to go ahead and close this little pop-up window. And as you can see here, that Mr. Hill sent that comment. So he said when somebody annotates a file, it will send us a message, and then it will also pop up here. So if I clicked on this, it will lead me directly to where that comment was. And I will say, I was wondering about that. And this just kind of sends them a little reply. And so you can have a little conversation within a conversation. But like I said, once you click exit, it'll still show up in the conversation. And if I click on it again, it will pop up to where that one comment is. So let's see. I saw here that, oh, Mr. Sample answered unsure too. Did he have health coverage to the marketplace? So if I have a question regarding this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click anywhere near the document, and I'm just going to click next to the 9, and I'm going to say, can you please ask Mr. Sample if he had marketplace coverage. And I'm gonna hit send. Now, sometimes when you're zooming in and out, this little send button gets a little tricky. So you just wanna go ahead and zoom more in and it's gonna delete that. So I'm gonna go ahead and type that again. And I'm gonna hit send. Oh, and I put a little bit above. Okay, that's fine. So everybody does make mistakes. Okay, so now that I sent him a comment, I can exit here and I can go back to the conversation, and again, it'll pop up here, and then Mr. Hale can reply to this. I can view the document. So just like any of the intake sheet, I can click on this. I can zoom in and out. Now I know this kind of looks blurry, but like I said, that during the intake process, if there's anything that looks blurry, we'll make sure that the client sends us another picture of it that's more clear for you guys. I can click on the next and it will take me to the next picture. It will take me to basically any files that have been uploaded. So this must be the 1099 miscellaneous that we were looking for the self-employment. So we're glad we got that. We got the bank information, so they wanted direct deposit, and we have the ID. So now that we have all these files, we have this in the conversation. Now we can see here the conversation. He replied, Mr. Hill replied. So Mr. Sample had health insurance. If I wanted to reply, I can just say, okay, thank you. And it will be in the conversation, or I can actually click back on it, click on the second comment, it'll pop up, and I can say, and then hit send, which, oh, it blocked that little send button. So we gotta send it again. And we're good to go. So those are the ways that you guys can communicate back and forth if you have any questions regarding any of the forms that the client has sent over. Now, this conversation can get long, so if you have more questions, it will just be, you can just scroll through the whole conversation, but you had your conversation and now you need to go back to the files. Instead of scrolling all the way up to where the files are, what you can do is you can go here to the little files tab right next to the little conversation tab at the top right hand side. And this will allow you to view all of the files. Now this is going to have the files that we that your site coordinator sent with a template, and this will also, you will also be able to see all the client files from here. That way you don't have to keep scrolling up and down the conversation to find the file. It will automatically be redirected to this files tab. So next to the to-do, now that I see all the files, I asked all the questions on here, on this to-do, I will go ahead and click this so that Mr. Hale knows that I have gone ahead and reviewed the files and I'm ready to start the tax preparation process. So at this point, this is where you would open up your TaxSlayer and do your tax preparation. So I know you guys went through extensive training for the TaxSlayer. Again, if you have any questions or if you're stuck in any part, this is where you can go back to this conversation and ask, hi, Mr. Hill, where do I put the 1099 miscellaneous on TaxSlayer? And if he's explaining it to you and we know it's a little bit difficult. Some of you guys might be more visual learners. One of the things that we can do is have a video call. Now, this is available again in the conversation that you're having with the site coordinator. So if Mr. Hill explains it to you, but you're better at visual learning, what you can do is go ahead and ask, Mr. Hill, can we hop in a conference call? And then we're going to see if he's available. And then we're going to show you how to do that. Now, usually the site coordinator will be able to start that, but just for you guys' sake, I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting. So in order to start a meeting, what I can do here is, again, on the top right-hand side, you have a button here that says Meet Now. So if he's available now, I can click on this and it will start the conversation. Or if he's available another day, he's going to go ahead and schedule that meeting. But since he's available now, I'm going to click on the Meet Now. And then I'm going to hit Start. Actually, for the purposes of this training, I have to do it differently. Sorry. I'm going to take them off. But usually you don't want to take off the Dallas Community Tax Centers. You just want to leave Mr. Hill here. So I'm going to hit Start. I'm going to allow that. And it's going to pop up this little window. I'm not going to allow it. Got it. Okay. So hearsay. Now, I know everybody is familiar at this point. We're pretty much all zoomed out. For those who are not familiar, this is basically what the video call will look like. This will always be recorded. It will just be for our administrative access. If we need to go back, you can always go back and see it again if you have any questions. But here, I can go ahead and have my video camera turned on. We're not going to go ahead and do that, but that's an option that you have. I can also unmute. Make sure you're unmuted if you're asking any questions. For the purposes of this, I'm not going to do that because, again, I'm speaking to you guys, so it's just going to be a loud echo. But what Mr. Jonathan could do is actually, or if you're stuck somewhere, what you can do is you can actually click on this button called Share Screen. Now, just like I'm sharing my screen with you guys right now, you will be able to see your site coordinator's screen or my own. So if I say, TaxSlayer is giving me an error, can you please see if, this is something that is on my end or on your end, or on, TaxSlayer's end? What I can do here is I can click on Share Screen, and it's gonna bring up the different screens that I have. So select a window. I'm gonna select screen 1. I forget which is my screen 1. Screen 3, there. And I'm gonna go ahead and start sharing my screen. Now, in order to share my screen, I don't have to do anything. I can literally move my mouse around. I can show Mr. Hill anything that I need on TaxSlayer. And then if I want him to start sharing his, I'm gonna just click stop sharing, or if you're done with the conversation, you can click on stop sharing. And this is a way for you to be able to talk to your site coordinators, assistant site coordinators, and then takes one-on-one. This is very helpful. Again, we know some of you guys are visual learners. I myself am a visual learner. So we can see now that Mr. Hale pulled up his TaxSlayer. So now he's gonna walk us through that. This is also a helpful feature because if for some reason during the quality review process, your site coordinator finds an error or sees in ways that you can improve, they can go ahead and schedule a call with you. That way they can show you so that we're learning. We're still, even though we are virtual and even though we are still at a distance, we still want you guys to be able to learn from every single tax return that you get. Some of them are going to be simple. Some of them are going to be a little bit more difficult. We will work with you guys, and we do know, the different levels of tax preparation that you can do. This is still a learning process, just like we were for those who are returning volunteers, when we were in person, we would always go up to your desk, and if you had an area we could show you, and that way on your next return, you'd take that in mind. So this is just a great way for you to still be able to interact with your site coordinator, ask them any questions. And yeah, so once the meeting ends, just like any video meeting, you're just going to click end. And I do want to end the meeting. And it's going to take me back directly to this conversation. So if I click here, I'm just going to see that it has, the meeting. If I jump out of it and Jonathan was selling, I can click on here and join it. But those are basically the 4 options on the top right-hand side. You will never need to go into the participants, because the members will always be dictated by the site coordinator that is assigning it to you, or admin staff if they need to add another staff member to your conversation. Like I said, if sometimes you might have start a conversation with Jonathan about a client, but if he's not available to do the quality review, and then he says, okay, well, my coworker Sophia will be able to do this, then our admin staff will go ahead and add me on this conversation. And at that point, you will be able to message me in the same project. So as you can see on the left-hand side, or on top of right here, this is named after our clients. It's an internal conversation. So Jonathan just added another person, so it's me. So here I can just see that another person was added. And at this point, Sophia could go ahead and send a message saying, I will be in charge of doing your quality review. If they found any errors, they would be the ones contacting you, but they will all be a part of this conversation. They will have access to all the files that have been sent, and they will have access to the conversation. So if you see different people within the same, if you see different staff members within the conversations, don't worry about it. In person, it's a lot more natural, because you can just look towards your other, or the assistant site coordinator could talk to the site coordinator, and this conversation would be happening in person, a couple feet away. Virtually, we would have to manually add them. So, don't worry if you're seeing different people who are added to the thing. So I'm gonna just take a quick second and look at the chat, because I know it's been. Yes, we will be getting a new chat in the timeline for each client that are assigned. Yes, that is true. So this is what I was saying. So for each chat, I see here that it has John Sample 2020 TR. What this means is that this is a new client. Your site coordinator will be explaining that they will be assigning you to that specific person. But the reason why we are naming all of our chats our client's name is that so it's easy for you to find. So if within a shift you have 4 different returns assigned to you, you can easily differentiate this, especially because we're hoping that you guys are signing up for a lot of shifts. So if you have a lot of clients, this timeline is going to get full real quick. So, naming that person, naming the chat, and our site coordinators will be doing this. Having that be the client's name be the chat name will help you to filter out any conversations. So here I can always click on here and it will filter. Like I said, I only have 2 things. So, it's going to filter that I have John Sample and then I have a conversation with Jonathan. Here I can make sure that I'm clicking on it. So if I was here, I can go ahead and say, okay, well, I'm trying to look for John Sample, not Jonathan. So I'm gonna click on this John Sample and it takes me directly there. If I had, if I had Jacob, we can see here that it's no matches found, but say I had some, they would be here. So this will help you guys to also be able to keep track of that. Let me see. Any more questions? Do we need to send a message when the return is ready for quality review, or is checking the checkbox enough? Checking the checkbox is enough. So now that I viewed all the files, I went ahead, I did the tax preparation. So the tax preparation is completed. And then if I don't have any further questions, I can just click on this ready for quality review. Now, when I click on this, this is going to send a message to my site coordinator. And as you can see down here, it shows at what time I did it. That way they're aware of that. So when they're ready for quality review, Jonathan will get like we saw in the little red dot right here. Jonathan is going to get a little notification saying that he has unread messages, and it will be these two things. So once you click on this, then your site coordinator will know that the return is ready for quality review. Can we start a new return before quality review is completed, or do we always wait for the QC to be done? I believe we will be letting you guys start a new return before the quality review is completed. Now, when the quality review is completed, your site coordinator will let you know if they have, again, anything that they saw within the tax preparation process that you guys did that they might have had to fix. They will also, this is where they would, try to see if they could get you guys in a meeting or explain what the error was. That way you guys, again, are also learning or continuing to learn with each review. So you do not have to wait for the quality review to be completed. Like I mentioned earlier, the Dallas Community Tax Center staff, that means our site coordinators, our intake specialists, and our assistant site coordinators and our admin staff are going to be the ones contacting the clients directly. So they will be doing the quality reviews with the clients as well. So you guys, once you see this quality review, if you guys don't have any questions, you can go ahead and have a new one assigned to you guys. Let me see if we have any more questions. Yeah. So once you get done here, if you don't have any questions, you can always, go ahead and go on to the next return. For the purposes of this, we're not gonna start a new one, but it's basically a conversation between yourself and then our staff members, just to get through the tax preparation returns. Again, if for some reason you are unable to continue with the tax return, or you need somebody to take over, please let us know. We will make sure that it is reassigned. The process that we want our clients to have is swiftly. We know it's difficult for everybody to switch from going in person to virtually in the matter of months, but just to keep you guys safe, our clients safe, and then our staff safe, we also want to make sure that the quality of service that we provide to our clients does not go down by the change of the times. Let's see. Will the returns be probably reviewed during our shift? So if they're quality reviews, so if you, it depends on, whether you complete the tax return closer to like the end of your shift. We would try to do the quality review as soon as you let us know. Yes, that, but again, if like you finish your tax, if the return is ready for quality review like 2 minutes before your shift is done, then it would just be a matter of when the site coordinator sees that. But yes, hopefully yes. Do we have to ask for a new return, or the coordinator will send one once we send ready for quality review? So we'll be keeping a track of who's who's ready for a shift in the back end. Let me see. So once it's ready for quality review, what we're gonna do, what we're gonna do is we're gonna see who's available and not, and then they will assign it to you. So there's no need for you guys to ask for a new one. If you're seeing that it's spending a little bit of time and you're not getting something, you can always message one of us, and then we will make sure that we get that to you. Let's see. But yes, the coordinators will be sending this, will be sending any new clients to you guys, because we need to, the way that we are allowing you guys to see the files is through these conversations. So the site coordinator will have to start this conversation with you guys in order to send all the files over to you. And you will know because, like I said, it was like at the beginning, they'll introduce yourself and then tell you about assigning. Let's say, I'm sorry, I missed where you went to click on ready for call review, and we're done. Okay, so to do that, let me redo that. So if say I went on TaxSlayer and I went ahead and completed the tax return, the way to get to that to-do list, again, if you look at the top right-hand side, the first thing you're going to see that's lit green is going to be the conversations tab. What you want to do is click on the little check mark. Click on this. And then it's going to say open and then completed. So the open ones are the ones that you guys would have to do, which is the tax preparation completed. So if I went ahead and completed the tax return and I didn't have any questions, I would just click on that one. And then once it was ready for quality review, I would go ahead and click on this ready for quality review. And as you can see, you no longer see any open ones, but if you click on this little arrow, it has all of the ones that were done. And if I go back to the conversation, they're going to pop up here. So I can see here that I completed that at that time. And Mr. Hill will receive a notification once he opens up his Moxtra, he will get a notification saying that it's ready for quality review. So again, the quality review, the time that it takes to do the quality review, we will have site coordinators, like our staff that will be working on several returns or with several volunteers at the same time. So just like any instant message, it's as soon as they see that, they will, and if they're available, they will go ahead and start that quality review process. If for some reason it's the end of their shift and they need to have somebody else, they will go ahead and call and add another staff member, and they will go ahead and conduct it. So like I said, hopefully it is within your shift. If for some reason there's any notes that the site coordinator needs to give to you, they will go ahead and type it out or schedule a meeting with you guys to go over those things. And with you guys, so the great thing about you guys is that you guys are going to get your returns after we've done the intake process. So the intake process might actually take longer, but you guys won't have to deal with that because our site coordinators will be talking to the staff. You will not receive a return until that intake process has been done. Let's see. When we receive the invitation from Moxtra, do we set up an account or only complete our profile? So you will only complete your profile. The way that we're doing the onboarding process is Jonathan is going to be sending you an invitation directly. So if you guys haven't turned in your 13615, please go ahead and do so. We will be starting our the process of onboarding you guys on Monday. So once you have that meeting with Mr. Hill or I believe a couple of other staff members, they will go ahead and invite you. So you only have to complete your profile because we're going to add your names and then your email. So you only have to set up a password. Again, the email will be the email that you're using with your Better Impact please make sure that you have access to this email. How do we access Moxtra after that? So part of the onboarding process, we're going to give you guys a link to it, but just to show you, our main address is going to be dallascommunitytaxcenters.moxtra.com. So as long as you can have this bookmarked, and we'll send this to you guys. And just like Keisha said earlier, we are going to be go live with our volunteer resources portal. And that will have a direct link to the portal. That way you can click on it and then just log in with the email that you're using for your Better Impact, and then that secure password that we want to create to make sure that our clients' files are safe. Let me see. Can I do the tax preparation anytime, or should be 9 to 5 or daylight shift to have assistance? So you need to do the tax preparation process during your shift. The tax preparation process should be during your shift. You guys will not have access to TaxSlayer after basically working hours. So this is one of the things where one of the reasons why we added the to-do list. We want to make sure that we are completing those tax returns in a timely manner. If you are signed in, if you are signed up for a shift, like I said, we're taking into account, what time it is, and then what your shift time is. That way we're not assigning you guys a return, 5 minutes before your shift ends. I know a lot of our experienced volunteers will be able to do that, but we don't want to give you guys that stress. So your tax preparation will be completed during your shift. Please make sure you are following through with that. And like I said, if for some reason you need to step away or you need to do that, we can have another volunteer complete that tax return. Will we receive the email to join Moxtra after the Zoom call? No. You will receive the email to join Moxtra after your onboarding meeting with either Jonathan or I believe 2 of our other FC staff. So once Jonathan has that meeting with you, make sure that you have the 13615. He will go ahead and send that email specifically to you. If you haven't, again, please send Jonathan the 13615. So you guys are good to go on Monday. And I believe there's a couple more days next week that they'll be doing the onboarding. Yeah, but he'll explain that to you guys. And we are hoping to have this, or we are going to have our updated website live this Saturday. So you guys will also, once Monday hits around, you guys will also receive a link to the volunteer resources portal. It is password protected just because we don't want to give clients access to this. So please keep that password secure. But if you log in, it will have the information such as the step-by-step on how to complete your profile that I was showing you guys earlier. Let's see, what days and times are available to volunteer? So for the dates and times you're available to volunteer, that will be on your Better Impact.
Yeah, you can sign up for shifts via your Better Impact, Monday through Saturday from 9 to 4.
Okay, let's see. Mr. Christopher Young said, will any software be tethered to a single machine, or can I use any machine? You can use, so if you have a laptop or a laptop and a desktop, as long as you have a browser that you can log into our Moxtra site, which is, again, dallascommunitytaxcenters.moxtra.com. And I'm going to type it in. You guys won't be able to log into it, but once you, if you have a browser, all you have to do is just go to that website and then log in with your credentials. Now, if you're switching from, a laptop to a desktop and vice versa, please make sure that you are logging out before you close out the browsers. Just log out to make sure that we're still keeping that secure.
Yes, if you have been accepted into the in a better impact, you can go ahead and sign up for shifts now. We will still have the one-on-one meeting before I invite you to the Moxtra platform.
Okay, let me see. Can we sign up for shifts now, or when do we start? Like Jonathan said, he will let you guys know. Is there a limit to how many people can sign up for a specific shift? Mr. Jonathan, you want to go ahead and...
We have a limit of 20 people per shift, and I made a mistake on the hours. It's going to be anytime from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., and they're in 3-hour increments.
Any in-person shifts?
If you would like to send me an email, we do have some opportunities for scan and go options.
Yeah, as of now, we are not doing any tax preparation with the client on site. But we do have different options that our clients will be able to participate in, such as Jonathan said, the scan to go. So if you guys are interested in that, please make sure that you are reaching out to Jonathan. All right, let's see, do we have... I believe it's, what is the minimum hours required for volunteering? He's thinking, guys. He's got his thinking cap on.
I do believe the minimum requirement is going to be 30 hours.
Mm-hmm. All right, just keep your questions coming in. All right, I'm going to show you guys a list of the contacts. So like I said, your contact is going to be all of our staff members and our volunteers. We're in the process of editing our Moxtra thing, but once you guys log in, you guys will see all of our staff members are going to have pictures like this. We took some staff pictures, I think a year and a half ago. So if you have any questions, please, you can direct them with them, but just make sure that you are going through those project chats. Do you have a timetable to keep track of volunteers volunteering hours?
Yes, you sign up for a shift on Better Impact, it'll record your hours.
Yeah.
And that's why we also ask that you sign up for a shift through Better Impact, because it'll allow us to know who is signing up for which shifts so that we can assign you guys tax returns.
Yeah, you guys will have to make sure that you are doing that through Better Impact. I don't think word of mouth would be a good thing for virtual because we are going to have a running list of all of the volunteers that are available to do the tax preparation. So just make sure that you're signing up for Better Impact. If you have any problems with that, direct all the questions to Mr. Hill as to far as signing up. And then that way we know that you need to be assigned a return. It says, when we start our shift, if there is a place where we start the clock like last year. So yes, there is a time clock, the volunteer time clock, it's still the same. And we will be putting that link in our volunteer resources portal, as well as we will be providing that to you guys during the onboarding process, I believe. Do we still need to punch a time clock at the start? And yes. Please make sure that you are going to that time clock. I think I'm trying to remember. For those of you not familiar, what you would do here is we will send you guys this link, but if you guys know your username and password, you can just log in. If I have to sign up for a shift, because you can only, I believe you can only start your return if you are assigned or if you have signed up for a shift. But I would then go ahead and start the clock. And then at the end of my shift, I would go ahead and stop the clock. Right now, I don't have any of them. So, there's no activities for me to clock in. But this will be the same link. So if you guys are familiar with it, then yes. If you're not, then we will go ahead and give you that information. How many returns are we expected to do per shift? So that changes between because of the difficulty of each return, and then just the X factor that so sometimes we have volunteers who finish 1 or 2, 3 or 4. We have super volunteers that finish like 8. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think we've ever kept track of that, but it would just depend on the level of difficulty with the return, how simple it is. And then if you guys have any questions, it would also depend on that.
Yeah, so there's no real number for how many you're expected to do. It's more about the accuracy of the ones that you're assigned. So if it takes you longer to complete a tax return, there is no rush. We're here to help you guys in any way that you're continuing to learn.
Yeah. So usually during tax sites, we had like maybe for our new volunteers, we had maybe like an hour per return. But again, that changes. And as you get used to it, it might get quicker for you to do. But, we're expecting or we're hoping that we have a lot of clients. But please don't feel stressed out to do it within a certain time frame. Just like Jonathan said, what we are looking for is making sure that our returns are accurate. And that's what's most important to us. We used to be able to stay and work longer than our shift. Can we still do that? Listen, guys, we're not gonna stop you guys, but please make sure that you are letting Jonathan know. So if for some reason you are a super volunteer, just like Mr. Randy, hi, Mr. Randy, go ahead, and what you can do is go to your contacts, and I'm just going to click on Mr. Jonathan's face right here, and I'm going to head and start a chat. So I can say, I have a couple of hours free. Can I continue to volunteer until 3 p.m.? And he will go ahead and update. Hi, Mr. Prescott. Oh my God, I love my volunteers. So he will go ahead and update the on our admin side, letting us know that you will be available for that shift. So you would be good to go. So again, if you are a super volunteer, just like Mr. Randy, then go ahead and message Jonathan, and he will update that shift schedule. Okay, let's see. Does Moxtra timeout if there is no activity for a while like TaxSlayer does? It does not. So you have to make sure that you are logging in and out once you are beginning your shift and ending your shift.
Mr. Diggs asked about being assigned to specific sites. Because we are virtual, there is no specific site. We'll all be housed under one site.
Let's see. See if they have any questions. And like I said, you guys can open up your chat box and answer any questions. I know we have a lot of returning volunteers. So here, I'm just going to go down the list. Oh, Mr. Fly is here. Miss Barbara asking all the great questions. Let me see, do we have anything? Well, we have to set up a new TaxSlayer account password this year. So all of our returns will be completed under our virtual returns are going to be completed, and all of our returns are going to be completed on the mobile TaxSlayer that we have. So if you currently don't have a mobile TaxSlayer account, that I believe it would be a part of the onboarding process. Just like I said, when Jonathan or our staff members are gonna meet with you guys, they'll go ahead and give you those credentials. Because we know a lot of people might not have participated in our mobile before. And just for reference, our mobile is kind of like what we did our special event. So if you ever volunteer at the African American Museum during the last day of tax season, you stayed up with us until like midnight doing tax returns. That is our mobile TaxSlayer accounts. So if you don't remember it, or if you know you had one but you don't remember it, do not worry. Again, that's information that we can give to you guys. Okay. When Jonathan references one location, does that mean no physical site, but we volunteer virtually at a place of our choosing? As far as you guys using this Moxtra, it will be where, if you are working from your home, if you're working from, if you're a student and you're in a dormitory, basically that's what it means. Now we will have sites and events taking place that are going to be our scan to go. So our sites, we will have sites that are doing scan to go. And like Jonathan said, if you're interested in doing that, it's limited contact volunteer, but you will not be doing any tax preparation. That's basically our drop-off process. And for those who are not familiar with our drop-off process, what it is a client brings in their documents, they fill out their intake sheet, everything, and we scan it in for them. And then the rest of the process is done virtually. So as far as physical sites, those will be available. If you are interested in doing that, please let Jonathan know. But as far as the Moxtra, if you're working from home, then you can do it from home. Now, we asked, just again, for the security of our clients' files are the most important thing to us. Please do not do your tax preparation, at like a Starbucks where everybody can see your screen. These are very secure documents that we are taking charge of. So just make sure that when you're doing your tax preparation or when you're opening up your Moxtra, nobody else can see that information. As far as, ethics and everything, we want to make sure that you guys are keeping track of where you are and being aware of, if anybody's looking at your computer. So it's more of a private thing. Can I change the assign date for volunteering after I sign up for the schedule sheet? You can do that through the Better Impact. Like I said, in the back end, Jonathan is going to be updating the day schedule for the shifts. So, if it's the same day, please make sure, if you're not going to be able to volunteer, please make sure you are changing that on your Better Impact as soon as possible. But we know that things can get in the way. So Just make sure that you are doing that through your Better Impact. If it's like a last minute thing, please make sure you message Mr. Hale. Let me see.
And for the scan to go, this is not an option for the UTD student participation.
Yeah, so if you're one of our returning fabulous volunteers and you guys want to volunteer that way, please make sure you're just letting us know. Do we have any questions? Can we repeat that, please? Okay, so if you are a UTD student, the option of volunteering for the Scan to Go sites or our Vita to Go events is not for you guys. That is coming from the school. But if you are one of our fabulous returning volunteers and you want to volunteer your time with that, please make sure that you are letting Jonathan know.
And there was a question from Mr. Liblang that asked, is there a website that potential clients can go to for information on the Dallas program and locations?
Yeah, so the website, it's actually going, I'm currently working on it, guys. So right now it only has our coming soon page, but the website will go live this Saturday. So all of the information regarding the virtual Vita, the Scan to Go, and then our Vita to Go events will be there on Saturday, tomorrow. I keep forgetting what day it is. So yeah, the DallasTaxCenters.org, that's our main website. In the French page, it will lead them directly to the virtual Vita page, which has all the options listed, and then all that good stuff. But yeah, we're currently working on that, so look for that tomorrow. Let me see. And I believe that's all that I have to show for Moxtra. You guys can keep your questions coming in. We would gladly answer them. Let me see. Yeah, but just to reiterate a few things, when creating your account, please make sure that you are creating a secure password. Security is kind of like our main thing with virtually. Oh, I have another question. Security is our most important thing. So again, make sure you're using a secure account. Make sure you're logging in and out of the Moxtra, as well as the time clock for your shifts. Make sure you're doing that. And then if you're working from home, or if you have roommates, please do it in a space where, your focus. If you guys have never, or if you guys have volunteered with us or have seen us at sites, the spaces that we create for you guys to do the tax preparations are very simple. And we make sure that, you guys don't have loud distractions. So just make sure you're aware of your surroundings. And please remember that these are, while after a couple, it might seem just like any other document. These are people security at stake. So just treat that with respect. And let me see. How will we interact with taxpayer first trends? I need a lot of that. So you will not be interacting with the clients. that is going to be our staff members' duties. So like I said, you guys will not be receiving or you guys will not be assigned a client return until after we have completed the intake process. And the reason for that, it's just that we wanted to streamline that part of the process. So any questions, our site coordinators will be taking care of that. Our assistant site coordinators and our intakes will be asking any questions. And now, if they have any notes for the client, so if they ask them questions and the client answered, your site coordinator will let you know. So they'll say, hey, you know, just like how we had when Mr. Oh, wrong one. Just how Jonathan put here that he spoke with the taxpayer to confirm that they did have self-employment. They can go ahead and annotate each document, or they can just type out a message. But if they have any notes, they will let you know. And again, if you still have some questions that they might need to ask the client, you guys can message your site coordinators, and they will go ahead and message the client, and then they will message you back. Which I know it seems like a lot, but it's an easier, streamlined process that we're going to do. As Jonathan mentioned, the minimum volunteer hours is 30 hours, but I'm a UTD student and the same hours are applied to me.
Correction, I believe it's 25 hours for the UTD students.
Yeah. Ms. Barbara asks, will we have special training for how to use the 2019 AGI as alternative for 2020 EITC if there is issue with workers' comp in 2020? Also, special training for early withdrawal of retirement funds due to COVID for payback over 3 years. Ooh, that is a question for somebody really smart. 30, is it 30 hours per week or 30 total? Ms. Barbara, we're gonna get you that answer. One of the panelists will let you know, and I'll read it out if they answer that question. Is that 30 hours per week or 30 total? We would hope you guys could volunteer for 30 hours a week. We really would. We really love you guys. You guys are the backbone of our, program. But I believe that's 30 hours total. I need the VITA password to send you my 13615 form. Will you please email me? I will let Jonathan take a crack at that question from Aurora Castillo.
I'll send you an email.
Mm-hmm. Should volunteers contact Mr. Hale in advance to let him know they are earning enough hours? So the time clock. So what I'm guessing is so that he knows what kind of hours you guys are keeping track of. If you guys are clocking in and out again on the time clock, and this is using your Better Impact login. If you guys are clocking in and out, then in the backend and Better Impact, we can see the hours that you guys have worked. So you guys don't need to keep like an Excel sheet track of that. Just make sure that you are clocking in and out using your time clock. Ms. Linda Stern said, got worried there. Oh, we wish you guys could volunteer for 30 hours, but no. It's 30 hours total during the. When does our tax season end this year? Oh, man. Hopefully April 15th. At this point, we believe that is going to be the end of April of tax season. But if for some reason that changes, we will make sure that we are letting you guys know. Hopefully April 15th. Asterisk mark. Let's see. Do I have any questions? Will confirmation of something like written car mileage logs be sent us up front, or will we have to dialogue? Okay, so let me show you guys our self-employment. which is, I'm gonna, give me 1 second while I look for it. Okay, so for self-employment taxpayers, we are giving them this form. So if they have any car mileage, they're basically going to put it here, and if they basically have any expenses for that self-employment job, it's going to be here. So if they're doing several years, we will make sure that they are putting that information in, what tax year it is. So like I said, if they don't have a 1099, they can put their income here. And then these are the expenses. So, we have things such as advertising, machinery, office, supplies, blah, blah, blah. And then here we have car and truck expenses. So this is, we added a little disclaimer just saying that it does not include the miles from home to first job of the day or last job day to home, because those are commuting miles. But so what you guys will receive is this filled out. So if they have any mileage, it will be there. And then the vehicle information will be here. So whenever you guys get a client who has self-employment, they will have this filled out. So your site coordinators will send you this form filled out. And like I said, you guys will not be receiving, or you guys will not be assigned to a client until after we have completed the intake process. Okay, let me. And Miss Barbara, I believe they have answered your question. So the question was, will you have special training for how to use the 2019 AGI as alternative to the 2020 EITC if there is an issue with workers' comp in 2020? Also special training for early withdrawal of retirement funds due to COVID for payback over 3 years. The answer is, information regarding the 2019 AGI for 2020 EITC will be provided with the Volunteer Resources Portal. All volunteers will receive the password to access the portal once it has been launched. Retirement funds payback over 3 years is out of scope for us. If that is an option a tax client prefers, he or she will have to consult a tax professional. Yeah, so I also have listed a couple other things that are out of scope. So we are going to try to catch that before it gets to you guys. Again, in the intake process, but all that will be available in the Volunteer Resources Portal. But how do we know if they have met the records requirements? How do you know if you have met them, or how do you know if we have met them? So we have, we will have in your profile the number of hours you have worked. So that Better Impact keeps track of that. Again, as long as you're clocking in and out of your time clock, then your Better Impact profile should have your the record of how many hours you have worked.
Yes, and it'll be displayed on your main page. It'll.
So sorry. He meant mileage. My bad. But how do we know if they have met the records requirements? So this is again part of the intake. So if for some reason we see that mileage, we are letting them know that, and we're having conversations with the client. So if we have any questions regarding their miles, they that will be a question answered during the intake process with the site coordinator. So anything you guys get is going to be. Do I need to download Google Chrome or Firefox if I'm currently on Safari platform? No, you can access the Moxtra platform using Safari. So you can use Safari, Chrome, Firefox, Internet Explorer. Is it called Internet Explorer still? Yeah. But it's just the browser of your choice. And we will give you guys some sort of security guidelines as well. And that will also be available in the volunteer resources portal. Yep. But you can access this. You can access the Moxtra. Oh, Microsoft Edge is a new browser. Okay. So Microsoft Edge. So you can access Moxtra using Microsoft Edge, Firefox, Safari, Chrome browsers. Let's see. Do we have any other questions? Keep them coming, guys. But if we have no longer questions, if you guys want me to go over something from Moxtra, please let me know. So there are several questions in the TaxSlayer to assure EIC is not fraudulently claimed. Do we assume that the intake process covers all of this and just answer correctly so that EIC is given? Yes, all of those questions will be answered. And again, if you're seeing something on TaxSlayer and you're questioning it, you can always again message your site coordinator. And if it's something that they have not done, they can go ahead and contact the client for them. Is there a deadline to complete the practice labs for TaxSlayer? So basically, I believe you have to complete the practice labs in order to be certified. Right, Jonathan?
Yes, you would have to complete the practice labs in order to get your certification.
Yeah, so the deadline would be when you want to start volunteering. So if you want to start volunteering right away, then that's your deadline. But yeah, you would have to finish those to get your certification, and you will have to get your certification. And again, once you get your 13605, the thing you got to do is send it to Jonathan. Once you get that, then you can start volunteering and signing up for shifts. Why is there a tax return completed and not ready for case 2 as another choice? Are they not the same here? Well, the reason why we had that, them split up as that is because you can go ahead and complete the return, but if you still have questions and you're not ready for your site coordinator to quality review it, then you can go ahead and click the first one and then ask your questions, have the conversation with the site coordinator, and then if they have been answered, then you can do ready for quality review. And again, we're changing a little bit these templates this weekend, so that might change. We might see that if it's something that we only want to do one. Okay, Jonathan is saying maybe we want to do one, so that might change. But like I said, the process of clicking these and checking these off is still going to be the same. So those options might change, but it's not that big of a deal. Let's see. All right, does anybody need any recap? Like I said, we are recording this meeting, so you guys will have access to it in the volunteer resources portal. So where's the time clock on Better Impact? So it's actually a separate link. And we will give you guys this link as part of the onboarding process, along with the Moxtra link. And then these two will also be available in the volunteer resources portal. Yeah, and you guys can always bookmark these on your browsers or put it on your desktops. That way you guys can just do that. to say, if you're in the middle of a return when your shift is over, do you contact Mr. Hill for more time? So if you want to continue with the return, so first of all, we're going to try to make sure that we're not assigning you guys returns, you know, right as your shift ends. But if you want to volunteer for more time or let Mr. Hill, just please let Mr. Hill know, and he'll make sure that the site coordinator knows if you are going to be available even after that, or if you're only available until that time.
Yeah, so the same thing applies. So if you are finishing up a return, just say, hey, it's taking me a little bit more time to finish this when my shift is over. Just let us know. You can send me a quick message for either way, or if you only have a few minutes left but you can't finish a return closer to the end of your shift, you can always just send me a message as well.
Mm-hmm. Can we volunteer for 2 shifts in the same day? Yes, guys. We're not going to stop you from volunteering, guys. we really like you guys. So yes, you can sign up for 2 shifts on the same day. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. I don't know if you have any more questions.